Hello, everyone. This is the Chase Carter Concept Podcast, where I ramble on about things that I care about and what happened this past week and weekend. It is May. Geez, what day is it? It's May 12th. It's a Tuesday. I'm recording this the Tuesday after the UFC 249 pay-per-view. And since I don't know too much about fighting, I'm just going to say it was the fact that there were no fans ruined the entrances. And when things happened in the fight, big shots landed and all that, it didn't take away too much from it. I don't know. I wonder if as a fighter it's different or if it's better. Because if you land a big shot and the crowd reacts to it, are you more inclined to follow up? Are you going to get gassed out? Are you going to make mistakes and use more energy that you would have because you're trying to get a finish? I'm not too sure. But man, that was a crazy pay-per-view. The amount that Tony Ferguson got hit, and then we found out he had a fractured orbital bone, or a broken orbital bone. Fractured just sounds like broken to me. But geez, I've never felt bad. I feel bad for fighters, just the fact that they have to get in there. But I don't think I felt as bad watching him just get hit again and again. It just didn't seem like he had an answer for anything. It's real. It reminded me of Tyron Woodley when you see a guy fight a certain way and be successful, and then when he's just not, it's like, whoa. And you look at that other guy and you're like, okay. But let's talk about something that I know a little bit more about, and that's basketball. And I mean about 5 or 10% more, since I know nothing about fighting at all. But The Last Dance 7 and 8, this is where Jordan broke down. And broke down is that he started to tear up a little bit or get choked up because men hold back all of their emotions all the time. And so when they talk about certain things, emotion randomly comes out. And people are like, oh, the question that broke Michael Jordan, do you think he's a nice guy? Like, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. I don't think he cares if he's a nice guy at all. I think he knows. I think as a celebrity, you would question people's motivations as to be your friend and to talk to you and all that stuff. But I don't think he has his family. He knows who loves him. He has his close friends, and I don't know. It was a weird him talking about. I think he misses it. I think he was talking about how he played, and I think he just missed it. I have no idea. It did not appear that he was tearing up because he was thinking about all the. What was funny was that people asked him, or the interviewer asked him, do you think people, the way you played, blah 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 blah, do you think people think you're a nice guy, or people think you're a mean guy because of the way you played? And then Scottie Pippen, who was apparently the nicest guy, and then had two of the most selfish acts, which is it doesn't relate. It's like, oh yeah, we love Scottie Pippen. He was so good. He was the best teammate we've ever had. But one of the most important parts, one of the most important events of our season, we needed him, and he said no. He just didn't, because he got jealous because Tony Kukoc got the nod instead of him. And it was the right call since he made the shot. Now, if he missed it, then Scottie Pippen, but Scottie is known as a great teammate. Jordan's not known as a great teammate. But who had the more selfish acts? And then Scottie Pippen signed that 7-year deal and then caused a whole lot of extra stress on the team physical and mental stress by waiting for the season to get the surgery, and then he had to take 3-4 months rehab. So Scottie Pippen looks terrible. Isaiah Thomas, and I don't think Isaiah Thomas looks terrible for walking off. Oh, and then, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. Scottie Pippen said he doesn't regret what he's. If I was in that again, I'd make the same choice. How do you? And I've never been the second best at anything in my entire life. I'm a average, above average, anything. Below average, well below average. Depends on shooting. For an unathletic white guy, I'm a good shooter. That's about it. There's nothing special about me. So I don't know the mindset it takes to reach that Scottie Pippen level, much less Michael Jordan level. But how do you look back on that decision where you abandoned your teammates and not regret your decision? As much love, like I've been on teams and I have this instant connection for the people on my team. Growing up playing basketball, you always have that connection with. You may not like a teammate, but you always have that. It's like a family member. It's like having a brother that you know. Well, I can really relate to this. It's like having an older brother who's an ass, but you would in an instant, like be there for him no matter what happened. You would happily trade your life. Like for my actual brother, yes, I would. Real basketball teammates, no, but you have that intense feeling. You have this intense feeling as far as brothers go. If they were to get into a fight, you would, without thinking, hop in. And you have that with your friends and family, and then you have them with these basketball teammates that you randomly get put up with, that you randomly get grouped up with when you're playing basketball. So it's just real weird that Scottie Pippen, let's go back to that. I'm trying to stay on subject. Scottie Pippen would say that. It was really, really interesting. And then there's the Steve Kerr altercation, which isn't that big of a, like, as in, and what was interesting was Jordan said he felt real small beating up, or hit. He didn't beat, like he said he hit Steve Kerr and then said beat him up. Well, is it just one punch and then it was over? Which is what I'm assuming. But Steve Kerr hit him first. Hit him in his chest. Jordan said he hit him in his chest. I would like to see Steve Kerr admit that he pushed. Now, did he push Michael Jordan, or did he take his right hand and punch him right in his chest? Because when you get into fights with your brother and family members and friends, you want to hurt them, but you don't want to injure them. So you don't hit them in the face. You punch them in their body. I remember, again, my older brother, we were horsing around and wrestling, and I wasn't, and then after, I think I was on top at the moment. I'm not saying I was beating him, but I was beating him in this wrestling. We're over at a friend's house, and it was at the time when I drank Pepsi. I don't know. I'm not. Look, I made stupid. If that's the stupidest decision I made in my life, then that's pretty good. But it was a dumb decision. I used to drink Pepsi. People were like, "Yeah, I used to do cocaine and blah 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 blah. I used to do heroin." My whole thing about mistakes is Pepsi and soda that I used to drink. Very unhealthy. But I just drank, I think 2 cans of Pepsi, and I wasn't feeling good while we were wrestling. I was like, dude, I think I'm going to throw up. I'm going to stop. And so I tapped on his body, and I'm on top of him. Like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go. And so I go to get up. He jumps up and jumps and grabs me around my neck. He's behind me in a rear naked choke, and he chokes me out until I wake up like in the carpet. And I'm so mad because I told him to stop. Like, I wasn't defending myself. So it was a real chicken shit move on his part. But I still didn't want to hurt my brother. So I punched him right in his side. Like, he was sitting, I remember him sitting at the table. I was pissed off. I was yelling. I was crying. I was like, how blah, blah, dude, I almost cussed. How effing dare you take advantage of me. I told you we were to stop, and then he did this. What did he say? He's like, you still lost. You still lost. Like that matters. And but I knew I wanted to punch him right in his face, but I didn't want to hurt the guy. I love him, so I punched him right in his ribs. And it wasn't even that hard of a punch, but I think maybe Steve Kerr tried to do it. He saw Michael Jordan and didn't want to hit him because that's the whole team. That might have been it. He's the whole. If he punched Michael Jordan and injured him somehow, then the whole season's gone. So maybe he was thinking that instead of the whole brother thing. Yeah, maybe that. I don't know. I think I just talked myself out of the original reason why I thought Steve Kerr punched him in the chest. But episode 7 and 8, great. When he laughed at Gary Payton, I thought that was so disrespectful. But that people see that and see how view that as mean. I just see that as a competitor. I don't care if Michael Jordan is the. There are people who are half as good as Michael Jordan who view the world just like Michael Jordan is. The only difference between Michael Jordan and these other athletes is he had the physical ability to back it up. There are people like T-Mac, Vince Carter, who have all these athletic gifts. They just don't have that extra gear to get to, or the mentality. Maybe it's mental. Because like the physical aspect, there's been a whole bunch of people as athletic as Michael Jordan, but just it seems like there's something missing. Well, there's one or two things missing. And I think at that level, the difference between the greats is so much smaller. It's so much smaller. But yeah, that was crazy episode. I can't wait to 9 and 10. I want to see him and Reggie Miller go at it in the next few episodes. That should be fun. And then Karl Malone. I heard what is it? They go into the 98 season. There's like 10 or 15 minutes on Game 6 alone in the final. There's all this footage that they had, and that's what I want to see. Like I want to see the extra stuff. I don't want to see the things I already know about. Okay, so what else have I been doing? I've been playing video games, obviously. Assassin's Creed Origins. I bought all these games on sale, and I've been playing the Assassin's Creed games since they came out. Loved them. This one is way different. I'm just going to go over it quickly. I don't like the gear, the loot. If you play video games, you know what I'm talking about. I don't like that at all. The original games were they had these crowd dynamics where you moved in and out of people when you walked through a crowd. You bump shoulders with them. You would slide in and out. So you felt really cool. You were out in the open, but you were still hidden. You can hide in groups of people. And this game got rid of all that and put in loot and put in, this shield is a 49 damage. I'm like, no, this is what I liked about the game was it felt real. They had the one mystical, or the one leap, how I described, or at least I thought about it in my head, was that they're good stories and good games. There's one leap of faith. So the leap of faith was this the machine that lets you revisit your ancestors' DNA. That's the one leap. Everything else, and then in the third one, I believe they let you turn Assassin's Creed 3. They let you turn into an eagle, a spirit eagle, because you're half Native American, and then you would turn into a bear, a spirit bear, and some other BS animal. I'm just like, no. You have one leap of faith, one thing. If you keep doing these leaps of faith. Oh, I also got to talk about what's that show? Kingdom on Netflix. Oh, they did this one part of the story. If I can think of it better. Anyways, the Assassin's Creed game. It's good. It's fun. Play it, but it's just not. It's not Assassin's Creed. I want to see how they do Valhalla, and then I got to play Odyssey. I think Odyssey is more of the same, more of this Origins type. Anyway, but I've been playing games. What I wanted to talk about was games with my girlfriend. She likes soccer, so we play FIFA. I bought FIFA 19 for like $10. She's not going to know the difference. She doesn't know that 20 is out. It's kind of funny. I'm not spending $40 on a FIFA game yet. Wait a couple months and it'll be $10, just like FIFA 19 is right now. There's a co-op game we played called Overcooked. She loved that. That's a really, really fun game to play with your significant other. And it's real simple. It's two-dimensional. And that was a whole other thing. She didn't understand what two-dimensional meant or three-dimensional. She never really thought about it. And I thought about there was one thing she had. There's so many stories this past week of silly things she said. But she never thought of things in one or two dimensional because she didn't play games growing up, or she never thought about it. And so, but playing games growing up, you would play Mario. You would go up, down, left, and right, and that's two-dimensional. But in 3D, you would actually go forward and back, like into the screen and then back up. So that's three. You move in 3 dimensions. And then she was like, "Well, what's a fourth dimension?" And then I explained that it's time and blah 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 blah, and it's time's the only dimension that we can't control or whatever. We can't move. We're always moving forward and in time, but we can never move back as far as we know. But blah blah blah. So we had that interesting conversation. And then we talked about Elon Musk was on Joe Rogan podcast, and they were talking about SpaceX and going to Mars. And she walked into the room and saw me watch. She's like, "Oh, I gotta watch that. I like Elon Musk. Is he on the Joe Rogan episode because he just got back from Mars?" And I don't want to say it's because she's a woman. I don't want to say that. But I've never in my life heard a man say a question that I'm not going to say stupid. I'm not going to say that, but uninformed. Nobody's been to Mars. We've only been to the moon. That's the only other body of rock that human beings have went to. That a human being has stepped foot on. I was like, if somebody, and I went into this lab thing kind of teasing her, making fun of her. And I said, if a human being stepped on Mars, it would be the most watched event in the history of the world. Everybody, you would know where you were, just like how the moon landing happened and everybody knew what, these big events, 9/11, well, that's more of like an American thing, American tragedy. You knew where you were when that happened. And it was so funny that she thought Elon Musk just was on the Joe Rogan episode because he just got back from Mars. And I was... It's funny. We're also... so Overcooked's a good game. There's a new game on the Xbox Games Pass. It's called Moving Out, I believe. And it's a really fun game where it's like these cartoon characters. And there's a house, and there's certain objects in the house you have to pick up and throw into the moving truck, but you don't have to do it carefully. So there was this one, we had to unload this airplane, and there was this giant couch, and it's all timed, and it's real like stress induced. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety built up, and you have to work as a team in order to do this. So this couch, you can't move by yourself. You have to have somebody else grab it on the other side. And then you hold down X, and both of you swing it. You swing it back and forth like a heave-ho motion. And then you have to let go of X at whatever direction you want it to go in, and the couch goes flying in that direction. So it's on this airplane, and you have to take the stuff. You have to carry it on the wing of the airplane, and then the moving truck whole airplane's moving down a runway. It's an endless runway, kind of like in the Fast and Furious movie where the plane was taking off for 20 minutes. But besides the point. But the moving truck is behind the airplane, so you have to throw all of the stuff off the airplane into the truck, and then the truck moves. Obviously, no, it's not obvious. The truck moves around, so it's a moving target. So and you have to throw it off the back of the plane, and we're getting ready to throw it off, and then she lets go of all the buttons for some reason, all of the buttons exactly at the opposite time you wanted it. So we wanted it to go forward, and we're moving it back. So she let go, and the whole couch went backwards off the airplane. She thought it was the funniest thing. She ended up crying so much, or she ended up laughing so much. Tears were running out of her face. she was like, I didn't want it to. She's like, I didn't think it could go that way. And I was like, well, if you're heaving and hoeing something and you let it go in the opposite direction, it's gonna go in that direction. Let's see what other games. Diablo 3 we've been dipping in and out of. She likes that. She likes the dungeon crawlers. Again, it's real simple for her. It's up and down, left and right. So I'm trying to get her good at really subtle thumbstick movements, because she's always complaining in FIFA that she's not going where she wants to. And I think it's because she's not good at, because she didn't play video games her whole life like I did. She didn't waste tons and tons of hours playing video games. And then she also said, it was funny, she's like, yeah, I grew up playing Mario. Every girl says they grew up playing Mario. Playing Mario once or twice while your brother goes and fixes a sandwich is not playing Mario, okay? I played, that's like me saying I played baseball growing up because I hit a couple balls in the backyard at my house. Or I played kickball. It's not the same thing. Stop saying, girls, now that video games are cool, stop saying you played video games growing up. And then she said, which blew my mind, she said, yeah, I grew up, Mario and Halo. I played Halo with my sisters. And I saw her play a first-person shooter, and it was the most discouraging thing I've ever seen in my life. I was like, you did not play Halo growing up. Stop it. Stop it. And so I'm trying to get her used to real subtle controls. I'm trying to introduce her to different types of video games. So I bought Resident Evil was on sale, the original. It's a remade version of it. I didn't buy Resident Evil 2. I wanted to make, because it was a little bit more expensive and I'm extremely cheap. But I wanted to see if she liked that. I didn't want to spend like $25-$30 on a game. I don't know. And I didn't want to play Resident Evil 2 again. I already played it. So I bought Resident Evil 1. It was like $7-8. And she didn't like it at first because it's slow. She can't control the camera. But she played. I tried to get her to play Gears of War, the original. And she said she got motion sickness. She got sick from the quick movement. So I thought Resident Evil, the camera is fixed and you just move around the environment and the camera changes for you. She didn't like that at first, but now she's kind of getting used to it. She said it was boring because the first part of the game, but then when the scares started happening, and I realized that's what's really good about Resident Evil, is they distract you. There's something scary that happens, and then there's like a mystery, a puzzle that you have to solve. And you're like, okay, I have to go here, get this, grab this, move this out of the way, grab this emblem, grab this diamond. You're like, okay, here. Oh, look, ammo, blah, 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 blah. Here's some herbs. And then all of a sudden something comes out and scares you. So it lures you into a false sense of security. And so we were playing and nothing had happened for 10, 15, 20 minutes or whatever. So I felt, and I don't tell her kind of what to do. I give her little hints here or there. But so she, I couldn't believe it. She went to get these herbs. She was outside, and it was outside on like this balcony area. Not a balcony area, like a gated off. It was outside the mansion. It was this little gated off section, but you're still outside. And then this dog was running around the outside of the fence and barking. And she got so scared of the dog, she went back inside. And she went back out, and she's like, "Okay, the dog's not going to come get me or whatever." And then she goes and gets these herbs. And right when she gets these herbs, the camera was set up perfectly. This dog jumps out from where she can't see, and she screamed at the top of her lungs so loud I thought the neighbors were going to, like, it was I've never heard her scream like that. It was a death-curdling scream. It sounded like she was going to be murdered. And then, of course, she realized it was, like, ridiculous and started laughing. So we're having a great time playing these video games. And but what I find funny is she always wants to play video games now because we're having fun. And sometimes I just want to play Origins by myself. And so I've always wanted a girlfriend who played video games with me. And now I have one. And she wants to play video games too much to where I'm like, no, I want to play my games. So I thought that's a funny, like, no matter what you want or what you ask for and you get it, you don't like it. People want millions of dollars and then they have millions of dollars and then they don't enjoy having all that money. It's just added pressure. like be careful kind of what you wish for kind of deal. There's one thing. It was my nephew's birthday last week, and where's this video? Okay, I'm going to play the audio of this video. It is a video I wrote. It was his birthday, and I wanted to do something, but he's like 4 or 5. I don't know how old my nephew is, so what? Don't care. He's a little kid. When he's my age, he's not going to know how old his nephews are either. But he's a cute, adorable little kid. And he dressed up as the Master Chief for Halloween. So it's last October. Yeah, Chase. We know when Halloween is. Yeah. Okay, so he dressed up as Master Chief. If you don't know who the Master Chief is, he's a character who has this helmet. He's like a military guy, and he's holding a plasma sword. If you don't know what Halo is, you definitely didn't like the last 15 minutes of this podcast. So he has this energy sword, and he's obviously taking a picture. And for some reason, I thought of the joke. I was going to post that picture and say, "Happy birthday to my nephew Zayden." Have I been saying Eli this whole time? No, it's Zayden. Zayden's birthday. Have I? Who cares? Anyways, I've been saying it's Zayden's birthday. His face is covered because he's wearing the Master Chief helmet. And for some reason, I thought this joke was funny. I would post a picture and say, "Happy birthday to my nephew Zayden. This is the best picture I could find." The reason I chose this picture is because it's the only one without his face. I'm making fun of, joking about how ugly he is. Obviously, he's not ugly. He's a cute kid. But I thought that would upset some people, just that joke. So I wanted to make a video, like just the text. If you read the text, it would come off differently. So I made a video, and this is the audio to the video. Just if I can play it. Take a moment to say happy birthday to my nephew Zayden. Just want to take a moment to say happy birthday to my nephew Zayden. I was going to post this picture and type these words, but he can't read yet. I know what you're thinking. He's not stupid. It's his lazy parents. Now, to the sensitive people who see this, I'm clearly joking. Chandra is his mother, so you know for a fact he's going to be well-mannered and smart. Leonard is his father, so you can assume he's going to be strong-minded and also a tad bit racist. I chose this picture because he's dressed as my personal favorite video game character, the Master Chief. And it's the only one I could find without his ugly face in it. To be honest, he's a good-looking kid. He's the best-looking Carter since 1986. They worked all the ugly out with the firstborns. But in all seriousness, happy birthday. I love you. I'll be interested to see if you find this funny in the future. And if by some small chance there is collateral damage from this post, and I lose some friends or alienate some close family members, even better. That last part, my brother's a big fan of Anthony Jeselnik, and that was a type of way he ended his special. So I thought, I sat here, I didn't want to buy him a gift because gifts at that young age I think are kind of stupid. The kid, like, do you remember a gift your uncle gave you when you were 4 or 5? I don't remember anything. And also I'm cheap, so there's that. But I thought about giving him something that he could maybe view when he's older that might make him laugh, say 10 years from now. And so I was like, I should make a funny video. But how do I make a funny video? I should be making fun of him, because making fun of a little kid, you're not supposed to do that. So that's one of the reasons. I could not stop laughing at I've chose this picture because it's the only one that didn't have his ugly face in it. For some reason, and looking at the picture, if you watch this on YouTube, I'm going to add the picture. Oh, I don't know why it's so funny to me. But we're coming up on the 30-minute mark. I was going to talk this next week. I had this article I was going to read. It's about these 3 girls that sue the school to not allow transgenders into their sport because there's these 2 dudes that are just, they're coming in first and second place in all the races. And I thought it was the funniest thing. And then one of the transgenders He used to be a man. He used to be a man, and now he's a black. Now he's a black girl. He's not transracial. He was originally black, and so she was bringing up the plight that black female athletes have had from the past. He's like, I fight for all something along. She brought up. He's like, you're not a black female. You cannot bring up something that you've never been through. Like it's not about that you're black or a woman. It's about that you were a guy. And you're way bigger than all those other girls you're racing against in high school. I could not stop laughing. And I was reading all of these posts. The school and the school board are backing the transgender. There's two of them. And they're ruining the women's sports. And it's very interesting because I'm assuming that a lot of these people on the school board are female. So if you can imagine, you set up this sports contest and events for women so women can feel empowered so they can test themselves against other women, and then you just let guys into the mix. Like there's a reason you separate them. There's a reason you separate them. I want to know who the fastest girl is in the high school. I want to know who the fastest guy is in the high school. When it comes to physical competition, we're not the same. And it's hilarious that the person brought up the fact that they're a black woman. You're not a black woman. You're a black dude. And one of the pictures is showing the transgendered male to female girl like braiding another girl's hair. I couldn't deal with it. I almost lost my mind. I couldn't imagine raising a daughter, training, spending hours and hours, dedicating your life to dedicating a big part of your life to something, and then just allowing dudes who couldn't make it, who aren't that fast, against guys, and then just have them dominate my daughter. It's like it'd be the biggest insult. I would move schools if the school allowed that. I would get out of there. I would get out of that state. I would get out of the district. I would get out of that state immediately. A bunch of psychos. If you want to identify and call a guy a girl, you can want to be called whatever you want, but you're not going to ruin everybody else's event and time. You're not going to do that. But apparently they are doing that. So it doesn't matter what I think, but it was upsetting and also hilarious to read. But that's the podcast, everybody. I think I want to go. Hope you enjoy it. I'll put pictures. If you want to see the picture of my nephew in the Master Chief outfit, I'll put that on. And this is me. This has been the Chase Carter Concept Podcast, and thanks for listening. You got this shit knocking, bro.